Hi everyone, this is Freddie with Superbike Unlimited. We've got another update on our 2021 ZX-10RR Superbike project, more specifically the rebuild project right now. We, of course, if you watched our last video, we've just returned from a test where we had a violent crash. Bike was completely destroyed. Well, I don't want to say completely. It could have been worse, but it was mostly destroyed. Lots of stuff broken, lots of money spent. And right now we're just chipping away at getting this thing ready because we want to do some superbike racing at Barber, and we're supposed to leave in like 4 days or something, 3 days, I don't know. So we're working through the weekend to try to get this thing finished up. It's definitely a race against the clock because some of the stuff that we needed we didn't have, and we had to import from overseas, and yeah, there's a lot going on. So there's still a bunch of stuff that's currently in the air on the way over here. Really last minute type of deal. Not my favorite situation to be in, but we're getting there. We're doing everything we can. So where we're at right now, we did just get a set of our Core Moto wheels. We fortunately already had some of these on order and they're just for stock. So we've reallocated those to the Superbike program, and Luke at Core Moto was really awesome. Love those guys. They made some special parts for us because we have the Superbike swing arm and the front end is completely different, so we have to have special parts made for everything, brake carriers and all that, and they were really awesome and just did that for us. So that's saved us a lot of headache and heartache, and we'll at least have enough to get us through the weekend, kind of just scraping by. It's going to be a little bit of a tight fit, but I think we'll have just enough. Barber is a triple header, so there's going to be 3 races, Superbike races packed into 2 days. So ideally we'd like to have another set of wheels, and it would make our situation with the tire guys a lot easier, but we got to work with what we got. So then we have our triple clamps. We have a couple sets of those on order, and I want to point out I posted, and I was pretty honest in the last video, and I mentioned that we're looking for sponsors. I want to say we do have some sponsors, and we have a decent budget, but you guys have to understand it is crazy money to build these things and run these things. And to have the staffing and everything every weekend. It's probably more money than a lot of people realize. It's a lot of money. So I want to point out that we do have some awesome sponsors, and fortunately we're really kind of selective about who we bring on board. And especially if it's an industry sponsor, as in they're involved in the motorcycle industry, we're not going to use something that we wouldn't otherwise normally use. Like we're not going to put, I'm not going to name a brand that I don't like or something, but we're not going to put X brand on the motorcycle and then use Z brand instead, even though it's got their sticker on the side. That's really not the kind of thing that we do. We are only using the stuff that we truly believe in. So we have some awesome partners, Motul, SBS, for example. These guys, we use their stuff anyway. We're just grateful that they believe in what we're doing enough to give us some product, and it's pretty cool. So I do want to point out we have some great sponsors, and it's really because of those people that we have such a great package. We would probably be using exactly those same brands anyway because we just like that stuff so much. So we have some great people. We'll go into that more later, but we have some awesome people on board. Back to how the bike's going. So we've gotten our bodywork back from the painter. He's had that stuff for a while. I'm not going to show it yet because I don't really want to do a livery reveal, and none of the graphics and stuff are on. But yeah, it's going to be a total color change. Tex is over here wrapping up our motor. We did get our cylinder head back. We actually had to go with a local guy. It's been a kind of a whole thing, but yeah, he addressed the valve job and found exactly what was causing our leak down issues, and I expect that we'll see a pretty healthy increase in performance there. Our forks are in the air. Our fork parts are presumably in the air to repair the originals. Our triple clamps are in the air. That's something else. A few folks commented like, well, how are we going to race this thing if you didn't have any spares? Well, let me just address that. We have a lot of spares, a massive, many tens of thousands of dollars worth of spares, but we don't have a whole spare motorcycle. We don't have everything in spares. We have in our trailer, and in here when we go to the racetrack, we have a ton of spares. Lots of electronic stuff, especially. Lots of the normal controls and stuff that you would see replaced when you're crashing. And even now we're using some of those spares. It's just that we didn't have maybe sets of 3 or 4 of some of these spares. So I hope you guys understand. We try to be prepared, but on the same token, since we're not exclusively a professional race team with a ZX-10RR, we're also building project bikes for the shop and showcasing products, and doing all this other stuff. We can't necessarily just invest our, you know, whatever capital we may have into stocking spares for the Superbike program. That's why we need the sponsors and the partners, so that we can focus, you know, a large budget into that and be prepared for this kind of stuff. If we were doing a full season, frankly, we would have all this stuff. And, you know, because we don't want to be in a situation where we have to go home early or something if we have a big crash in a track. No one wants that. So I just want to address that. We do have spares, lots of spares. We just don't have everything. So maybe next year. But things are coming along. We got our coolers in. We had actually already ordered those because I wanted to have an extra set of those. The clamps also, I've been trying to get extra sets of these clamps for a really long time. They're very special, the ones that we use, and I just haven't been able to get them. The people that make them, they're, you know, it's not a money thing or anything like that. It's just I couldn't order them, and I'm not going to name anybody, but the person that we got these from, they know I've been pestering them for over a year to get multiple sets of these. So fortunately, I explained what happened. We've got 2 sets on the way, so we're going to be in a little bit better shape than we were before. And we're going to try some other stuff. I think another really helpful friend is going to send us another situation to try. And, you know, we'll just see how that works out. But yeah, so we're chipping away. Of course, it's just the way it's been is we've had just a lot of surprises. And so here I'll just show you, this is our engine that's coming back together. When we started putting this back together, we use studs with our cylinder head on these, just because when you're removing and reinstalling the cylinder head frequently, you may find that you fatigue the threads in the cases of an aluminum case like that. You know, you're just torquing something over and over again. Eventually those threads may fatigue and fail. So what we're doing is using a stud on this, something that we're just trying, because it's either that or you run like a time cert or something like that down into the cases, because it's a steel thread. So anyway, we're trying using studs for now, and then as Tex is torquing everything back down, of course a couple of the studs fail. So it's just been that kind of deal with this motorcycle. It's, you know, we take 2 steps forward but take 1 step back with some of the issues that we've been having. So, but we fortunately have spares of those. For those of you that are particular about the spares, we had spares, and we went ahead and we popped another set of those in, and they're holding fine now. So that's where we are right now. We'll keep you moving as updated as we're moving along. We have a whole bunch more stuff coming in at the start of the week, so we're gonna have just tons of work to do. I got to get the bike back on the dyno, test some things. We got some new IMUs, lean angle sensors, that we got to test on the dyno, and just lots of stuff to do. So we'll keep you updated as we're coming along, and then we're gonna bring this thing. Hopefully we get everything put together in time, and you'll be coming with us to Barber, so you'll be able to ride along for that. Alrighty, so it's Monday, and we're back here. I should say we, or I. Tex has actually been working even through Sunday, so it's been, you know, basically non-stop for us to get this thing ready. You can see a little sneak peek of what the livery is gonna be, although that's not very telling. But I gotta say, I am stressed, because one thing we've noticed a certain theme around here, and if you watch our videos, you'll pick it up too. And that is that UPS, when it comes to our racing program, they seem to have some kind of vendetta against us. And what I mean by that is, if we go back in time with the ZX-10, we sent off our electronics package to be serviced overseas. And back then we really didn't do anything like that, and we didn't work with very many domestic people. So we sent like a $20,000 electronics package overseas. They lost it, and it took like a month for them to find it, and I had, you know, basically had to raise all kinds of hell before we got it back. And then they smashed our cylinder head, and you know, it was more than adequately packaged. They literally must have dropped it off of, I would say, a 15+ foot height, and ruined a $5,000 cylinder head. And now we have our triple clamps, which are the one thing that we need to get this motorcycle back on the racetrack and make Barber. And they have not moved, not one time since they've been shipped. They've been sitting overseas, I think today's the 4th day. Yeah. And honestly, I can't even put it into words. I'm so irritated about that, because we're doing all this work, and if we don't get those in time, I don't think we're going to be able to go. We don't have an alternative. We ordered multiple sets, so when that box gets here, we'll be good. But it's crazy. I mean, I'm even talking to our UPS rep and telling them, hey, listen, you know, we'll pay somebody to get on an airplane and bring it over to us. I know that's a service they offer. She actually even mentioned it. It's crazy expensive. I don't care. We're just trying to get this thing ready, and they can't tell me anything. And I don't mean to sound ranty, but you guys, it's just so frustrating. We're working our asses off around here to try to get this done and to make sure this bike is 100% and that it's capable of running at the front of a professional superbike race. And we have this utter incompetence happening with these guys every time. So I think it's safe to say that after this weekend, if we don't get this box in time, we are done with UPS. We ship way too much. We spent a lot of money with them. Maybe not compared to somebody like Amazon or something, but you know, well over the six-figure number with UPS. And yeah, I think I can't do this anymore. It's stressing me out too much. So anyway, on to positive things. As you can see, the motor is in the frame, and for the most part, we're pretty well good to go. We got all of our body work back. I think I already mentioned that. It's all painted. We have to do a little bit of trimming on some things. Everything else is here. Our pipe's going to be here either today or tomorrow. That's already in the States. I think that's it, actually, parts-wise. But if the triple clamps don't get here, then we're screwed. I mean, the ones we have, we've tried to see if there's a way to maybe like make them work or something, but they're just twisted. And I'll show you here. They're not crazy, but they're not usable. So this is a set of them right here. You can see that little gap right there. That's what you don't want to see. Yeah. So may not seem like a lot, but it really is. And you know, we're even thinking about trying to bend them back. I don't know. It's not good. It's not good, folks. UPS. The brown is, you know, there's a few things that when I think of brown, I think of UPS, and I think of one other thing, and I think they're kind of synonymous recently. I understand the brown, you know, because that's what this is. It's brown. But and I hope you guys, I'm sure it's clear what I'm saying. But anyway, that's where we're at. We got to wait for that to get everything else done. We're doing a little bit of lube maintenance because we have to, there was a small issue from the crash where a connector was damaged. We're just going to correct that. Tex is working on that now. And I think that's it. Everything else is here. Everything else is good to go. So fingers crossed. UPS, please do your job. All right, so we've got some more updates for you guys. Right now we're working on our braking system. We are going to bring a couple of options to the track for Jason to try, and we'll see how that works out. But basically we've tested on our Behringers, which we've had really good results with. We're also going to bring down our Evo Brembo calipers, which are kind of like the current flagship caliper that's available to us. And this is kind of a unique setup we've got going on here because we're trying to bleed off the bike, but that's these guys, which are just a billet monoblock titanium pistons. Of course, we're going to be using some fresh SBS pads in there, and need to get our Motul brake fluid in this thing, and we'll be right now we're just using some stuff that we've got sitting around, but we're going to put some 660 in there and should be good to go. Also, we have our fork. I'm going to go ahead and show you that. You're probably not surprised by what it is, but because we've used these in the past, we were able to demo these a long time ago. And it's these Batubos. This is the current World Superbike fork that they offer. And we did get to test these some time ago, and they were really good. It's something where only I rode on them, so obviously I'm not as fast as Jason, but generally I like to think I can tell the difference between something that's good and bad, or, you know, good or better. And I was super impressed with this fork. I thought it had really no downsides. It felt really nice. At the time it was a prototype, so we couldn't buy them, but I was interested in buying them, so it'll be cool to see how these feel. And I'm glad we got these because so far we have not gotten our Öhlins parts that we expressed over from Sweden. And I don't really see how we could get those in time at this point. So this is probably going to be the fork that we're rolling on. But I think that's not a bad thing. This is a proper fork. I remember I actually reached out to Eugene Laverty a long time ago because I was curious about these, and I asked him his honest opinion because he was no longer affiliated with the brand or team that was running them. And I was just like, you know, shoot me straight. What do you think about this? And he said that fork was brilliant. So I think it'll be cool to see what Jason thinks about these. And the nice thing about them is we already have all of the mounting brackets and stuff because we put them on our old ZX-10, and we made all the stuff for that. So we literally have everything to just mount these on the motorcycle, and the clamping diameters are the same as most other modern superbike forks, sans the brand new Öhlins, which is a larger upper clamp diameter. So all of our stuff will work with those. That's what we're going to put on. I'll give you a nice look at those. They're pretty cool. They have a lot of unique features. One of the things that's kind of cool about these, similar to the current Öhlins fork, is the fork foot, you know, the bottom actually threads upward into the inner tube, versus on a lot of the less expensive stuff out there, the inner tube, you know, is a male thread, and then it actually threads down into this. You can see this actually necks down, so this is smaller than this, and this, the threads extend up into this tube. It's supposed to provide an improved feeling. And then on the caps, just come around to this side, they have preload that are essentially a hydraulic preload adjuster that's built into the cap, and then of course the damping adjustments split up compression and rebound just like on the other stuff. So that'll be cool. We're gonna get those on, and we did hear from the UPS rep. They allege that we're gonna have our triple clamps tomorrow. I want to believe that, but I don't see any scans on the package, so I don't know what that information is coming from. But I was rather insistent that we get that stuff, you know, immediately. So hopefully that's the case. Everything else is good. We got our canopy. We got a new canopy just because the old one was kind of tired. I'm sure some of you guys have seen it. She was a little droopy, and I got a fresh one in for the track. Got all our team shirts. We'll show you those here in a little bit. And yeah, we're coming right along. Just got to get those clamps.